Hello everyone, it's Kevin, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm on my mini factory. I'm gonna print the Honey Girl from Printed Obsession. I like the vibe of the model, the demon with like the VR headset, the crowbar in the hand, so it's pretty cool. I'm gonna try to have fun painting, so let's go. Okay, so here I tried to keep the model quite tall, try to fit easily in the photon at the same times. I think it's around like 100 mil total, something like this. So here I had a bunch of support at the bottom. The model is not really hard, but there is a lot of details to go around later on, so I've put my structure first. All the medium support was gonna be needed to like support the model, the weight, and then I'm just gonna go around with my light support and make sure I get all the small island and the tiny parts. So it was not too hard, but it took me a little bit of time. The Honey Girl is printed, the result is fine, everything went super nice. I have a base as well. This one is like an industrial vibe kind of base. I will link in the description. The model, I had a bit of cleanup to do around, mostly at the back with the support, but everything went as I planned kind of, so having the support along the tail, for example, was really helpful, and then it was really easy to clean up, so that's what I was trying to have in mind when I've done my support. Everything else is cleaned. I'm gonna prime and start painting. Let's go. Okay, so here my idea for the skin was to be in kind of the red tint, more like Hellboy and something like this. But I added a lot of purple and pink for the shadow and the highlight. I wanted to have a nice shade on the skin. So I'm wet blending kind of roughly. I don't really try to take care where I put my paint. I'm not trying to be super smooth as well. I'm gonna refine later on, but the goal is to have my shapes defined first and then I'm gonna smooth later on. And I'm happy with the color. The choice worked really great. Here, as you can see, I've smoothed the skin a little bit. I'm just applying the base coat for the rest of the mini. I was not sure about all the color yet, so I find like when you're not really sure, just go ahead and do the base coat of everything else basically. Here for the legging, I wanted some kind of funky color, a bit retro, kind of like 80s vibes or something, so I chose a skin tone, but later on I was not happy with it, so I went back with this kind of dull brown, trying to tone down the skin tone. It was looking really weird, a bit off, so that's why I've done this. And when I had my base coat, I was a bit more sure about my color. I went back on the jacket. So I have some kind of reddish brown for the base coat. And I'm gonna use again the purple. So the purple was the main color that I used for all my shadows. Every color, I always added purple to darken everything. And again, I just try to paint bravely. I try to wet blend a little bit, but it's not perfect and it's not super like clean. I just go put my shadows and my highlights and I try to be brave and just go for it. And later on I try to refine and smooth a bit. Here for the highlight I use mostly some yellow to kind of brighten the brown here. I could have used pink maybe, I didn't try, but it didn't seem like it was a good idea, so I went with the yellow. For the top part here, I want to have like a white kind of vibe, but I still used, everything is a bit pinkish and purplish because I still used the purple for all my shadows and things. Trying to keep everything on the same tone. And it's a bit hard to highlight on white, so it's like a mix of white and pink. It's not pure white. Sometimes it looks a little bit dirty, but that's okay. The goal is to really try to enjoy and try to make the things happen. Trying to go bold and get a great result. Here I'm doing exactly the same for the legging. And I'm just going ham, as you saw. I'm not really trying to care where I put the paint. I mean, I'm trying to care where I put it, but not how good is it. Here there is a big contrast between the two parts, but that's okay. Later on you go in between and you try to glaze a little bit, you wet blend a little bit in between. And even now, like after smoothing a bit later on, you can see like this legging looking a bit dirty, a bit weird. It's not super smooth, super clean, but that's fine. There is some kind of pattern around the leg, so I'm just putting purple on the inside, and here I'm doing some edge highlight around the pattern. Time to switch on the hair. Applying purple again, and later some bright blue. So at this point, all the technique, everything will be a bit of the same. I've tried to go quick and try to get my effect and my color right, and then later on trying to smooth things down. And here the first part is still really important. You want to try to get your shadows and your light right. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be pleasant enough for the eyes, I think. So that's what I'm focusing on. For the highlight on the jean here, the short, I've used a lot of small stroke of paint, as you can see. I just want to add a lot of texture. Like when you think about a jean texture, you can really feel it. It's rough, it's rugged, so that's worked really well for the highlight here. I've done all the straps around in black. I'm just gonna edge highlight a little bit with some like gray and white in some parts. Here on the side there is some kind of armor, like a wrist and like elbow armor. I wanted to do non-metallic metal, but at this point I was spending so much time on it, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna use normal metallic paint. Took orange for the eyes, and then I went with a bit of yellow on top. I tried to add some like nuance on it, but nothing crazy. I went with the straight line down for the pupil. And now the base. So I went for something quick, so to speak, a bit dirty. I'm gonna have all my panels with some kind of chipping around, some rust, some metal. Here the color for the first part was a bit of a like tin color, and the grill is copper. Here I'm just painting all the paint chip around the panel. I decided to apply the wash over to make things a bit more dirty around. And when it's dry, I went back and I edge highlighted all the part where the paint was chipped to really make the effect pop. And after that, I went over with some metallic paint, normal like gun metal, and I dry brush over. And that's it for the Oni Hacker. This one was really fun to paint. I think the result is really great for my level. I could have spent more time and trying to refine more and more, but you have a deadline, sometimes you need to be done and you need to jump to another project, so that's okay. I think painting without complex really improved my level as well, so that's great. And the model is amazing. Tell me what do you think in the comment, and if you want to see more 3D printing stuff, follow me on the channel, and see you next week. Bye.